I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. During a House Financial Services Committee hearing last week, Representative Bill Huizenga fired back at his Democratic colleagues over high gas prices and inflation. The Michigan Republican spoke about the canceled Keystone XL pipeline while gas prices remain high. Huizenga said, quote, "We can blame the Biden administration for some of this inflation." Listen to his fiery remarks here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's just so ironic that that my colleague is talking about oil and pumping. I literally just left my office with a group of folks from Alberta. There is an alliance of 6 energy companies up there that are going to get, by the way, to net zero on their carbon emissions by 2050. But Canada supplies 62% of all the oil that is imported here in the United States, or they did. But they can't pump it here, or they can pump it, but they can't pipe it here because Keystone Pipeline, which was bought by the Canadian government, was canceled by this administration. So hell yeah, we can blame the Biden administration for some of this inflation. And I'll refrain from that again, but heck yeah, they are directly responsible for gas prices and what we are seeing here. So you're trying to spread this around that it's Putin's fault, that it's everybody else's fault. Meanwhile, this president is flying to Saudi Arabia and won't go to Alberta and won't pick up the phone and talk to Justin Trudeau about getting Canadian North American oil here. That is security. Let's not stop going to our adversaries and go to our allies. All right, so need to take a breath here a moment, and Mr. Powell. I'm glad you are here, and I do believe you attempt to be less political than maybe some of your other predecessors, but I do want to briefly point out something that Mr. Stiles and Mr. Timmons raised earlier regarding your comments in February 2021 as Congress was debating the Biden stimulus. Mr. Timmons cited those comments earlier. Well, in fact, your quote is still highlighted on the website of the House Budget Committee, the majority's House Budget Committee, under the headline, quote, "Experts and leaders agree the country needs the American Rescue Plan now." So your words are listed alongside quotes from the Minneapolis Reserve Bank president, the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. And again, this is from 2021. And I just wanted to hear, the hearing record to reflect this timeline, first of all, and ask you, do you think that maybe your quote should be taken down from that website, knowing what we know today?
It's not up to me whether people take down the quote.
Well, let me tell you though, if you're trying to be apolitical, that and allowing those words to stand with this mess that has been created in the economy doesn't stand. So I guess that's up to you. But if you're going to strive for that, I would suggest at least have some of those folks sitting behind you. They might want to make a phone call. All right. We have discussed during your last visit that I've long advocated for a rules-based approach to monetary policy. We talked about the Taylor rule. I've suggested the Yellen rule. Now with your reappointment, it could become the Powell rule. I don't care what it's called, but I am very concerned that we are not looking at those guideposts and having those guideposts. I'm glad to see that that in the Fed's most recent report, you did once again include a section on monetary policy rules, which had been omitted from the previous version, and you and I had discussed that at that. I want to read a quote from the June report and then get your thoughts. "Although simple rules cannot capture complexities of monetary policy and many practical considerations, make it undesirable for the FOMC to adhere strictly to the prescriptions of a specific rule. Some principles of good monetary policy can be illustrated by these policy rules." So my question is this: what principles do you believe are important when the FOMC is making decisions on monetary policy?
Well, what principles are important? Well,
and we've got a minute with a quick gavel, so please go.
So, I think to try to think systematically about monetary policy and not be, fully discretionary, to try to have a frame of reference. What are we trying to do? The Taylor rules, what they do is they embody the dual mandate. It's really what you're looking at in the standard Taylor rule and all of the spinoffs is how far are you from your price stability mandate? How far are you from your employment mandate? And that tells you, it's a frame of reference, and I think that's a useful thing to have.
Okay. We got 30 seconds less. Obviously, what I'm trying to push for is more transparency from the Fed. I also want to very quickly revisit your interaction with Mr. Gottheimer, where you spoke about the importance of preserving innovation and competition in the digital asset marketplace, which I agree with 100%. In fact, Republicans on this committee included that as part of their working principles last year. So let's talk about that light touch when it comes to legislation. However, one of my colleagues also noted that regulators right now are being very heavy-handed, which I'm concerned about as well.
Expired.
And I will follow up in writing on that. But we need to be hearing about how heavy-handed regulators are. Thank you.